Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Shadow's Den. I'm your host, Shadow Below, and this is the only place where dreams come true. So, I got my Oldenburg Adventures set up going here again, episode number 4, and my wife was so kind enough, what a great partner she is, to go actually do some footage of the city, and I'm so happy that she actually did this because I really was literally disabled in the hospital. No, not literally, but I couldn't walk around obviously because I was stuck in a hospital. So she was such a good wife. Went around and walked around because she knew that I wanted to get more videos up for you all. So she went ahead and walked around the city of Oldenburg. So this is basically just what it looks like. Some kind of interesting things I can point out, how like cars are parked in the middle, and that's totally okay here in Germany. So some cultural differences, some clothing line stores like C&A and M for Müller is for like just a general like store, kind of like a really tiny version of Walmart, I guess you could say, because they sell everything. I don't even, do they sell food? Like grocery? I don't think so. Anyway, regardless, she's just kind of walking around showing you what it looks like, things that we offer. If anybody has any questions about it, obviously any German viewers are going to probably be most likely familiar with this and all that good stuff. One other thing, graffiti, very cool. Well, I mean, I think it's cool, but I don't know if the rest of the German population think it's cool. Another thing that you'll notice, please pay close attention to the people walking past my wife, as they will actually stare her down because they're just so fascinated with the fact that she's got a camera. I'm telling you, people here, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I haven't been to America in a long time, but people here are just totally fascinated with the fact that it's there's cameras, people with cameras walking around. So, pretty funny. Anyway, and right here, she just wanted to show that things are written in English and German together, which sometimes doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so let's move on to the big topics of this one. So I want to talk about the Americans that are interested in moving to Germany and things like paperwork, culture differences, food, education differences, American-like features in Germany, and the health insurance system. So just a couple small things to kind of give you guys kind of an idea as to what it's like to live in a country like Germany. And of course, I live in a very small part of Germany, so my experiences may not apply to actually every part of Germany, but a lot of them you could probably, I would say, apply to them. Not every single one of them, like 8 out of the 10 you could probably apply to, but not the whole thing. Right? I mean, one state doesn't declare how the rest of the United States functions, right? So let's go ahead and get started with the lovely parts of paperwork. If you do not like paperwork, do not move to Germany. It is miserable. You want to talk about bureaucracy? I mean, Germans complain about it themselves. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. It'll drive you up a wall. My goodness. I have never signed my name on a piece of paper so many times in my entire life, you'd think the devil has my soul already. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it, and Germans can't stand it either. Why is paperwork so fascinating to these people here? Why it's just so fascinating to the government in general? I couldn't tell you. But I'll tell you one thing: they like to have keep a close eye record on everybody. So anyway, you'll need paperwork for just about everything, and you'll probably need someone's signature for just about everything while you're coming here. Well, we can get into that in a second, but things like if you want to apply for a job, if you want to apply for a health insurance system, anything really, getting married, it's just really, well, just in simple terms, I can't go over through every single scenario, but yeah. And right here, she's just showing that McDonald's has a limited time that they're open, unlike in America where a lot of McDonald's are open actually 24 hours. So she just wanted to show that kind of area. So, culture differences. Yeah, so I have a lot of, I don't know if I should talk about the positive ones first before I jump into the negatives. I think I'll go ahead and do the positive ones first. So, positive things about Germany. Cars run fantastic here. They are super good. They're structured well. A lot of Americans will actually tell you that the German-made cars in America are fantastic, so a lot of people will already know that. Bus system, fantastic. Train system, fantastic. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's definitely really good. Here's a bus right here. That's totally organized, timed, everything's nice. They've been doing it for a long time. Health insurance system, and I'll get into that one later as well. Very good system. Taxes are really good here. I know a lot of people will beg to differ with me on that one, but the taxes are there for a reason, and it's so that everybody wins, not just a small, 0.1% of the population. So like America, for example, they all pitch in and they all receive. So the tax system is nice. Well, not completely balanced, but a lot more balanced than what the States has got going on. The bikes, I mean, like I said, I live in Oldenburg, but I would say a lot of places you can get with a bike here in Oldenburg at least. A lot of places in Germany, I could imagine that you get around with a bike too. But like I said again, if you can't get around with a bike, then you're more than likely able to get around with a bus or train. So fantastic bike stuff. So now here's the negative lists. People for me are miserable here. I can't stand them. They are the nosiest, mouthiest, blunt, direct most people I've ever met in my entire life. My wife actually went the other night to something called the City Festival. And I wanted to actually get a recording of that to show you people how crazy this city is, how full and packed it is. Unfortunately, I was in the hospital during this time. But she went and she took our puppy for a walk because, well, the puppy was alone at home all night. Or not all night, all day, all day. And she didn't get a whole lot of time. And it was very, I guess you could say, upsetting for the dog. So she's walking around, and some random person just comes up to her and says, well, I mean, you realize that we're in a city here. And then my wife was like, yeah, I'm not stupid. I realize that we're in a city here. I mean, how can you even be a dog owner? That's just ridiculous. Like, she literally, I'm not kidding you, like, she said that like, after German translation, that's what she said. and then my wife said something like, well, can you just leave me alone, please? God, I can't believe we have such dog owners in this world. And it's just like, are you kidding me? First of all, you don't even know the situation. You need to mind your own business. And you don't need, what purpose do you have coming to talk to me in the first place? You have no right to just randomly come up to people and talk to them for stuff you don't even know the whole background information to. Keep your nose and keep yourself to yourself. It's none of your business. Keep it to yourself. There's a lot of people here that don't know how to keep their mouths shut because we have, in the States we're taught if you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself. But that rule does not apply here. Does not apply. The dog system here. So you have to go to a puppy school. You have to. And a year afterwards, you have to do a test to say that you're a good enough dog owner. My problem with this. The license you get afterwards lasts for 10 years. That means I could make one dog perfect, and for the next 9 years, I could have dogs, not train them the way I'm supposed to, and then it wouldn't really make a difference anyway. So one perfect dog makes up for 9 bad dogs, I guess, because the license lasts for 10 years. So if I got a new puppy per 10 years, if I got a dog within these 9 years, I don't need to go back to school again. The funny part is, all I have to do is say, after the 10 years, for example, say, hey, I have my license, get it renewed, and it's all good. So basically, you go to puppy school once, you take a test once, and for the rest of your life, you can abuse the heck out of the dogs. Why am I frustrated with this? Why do we need to get a test in the first place? There are plenty of people that know how to train a dog without having to go through all these hoops. Yeah, it's a way to ensure that things go better, but this is just ridiculous. It's overkill, and it's just a way for people to get more money for no reason. I hate it. Other problems that I have, so aside from the people, they're very rude on the streets, and they stay really strong to what they believe in. They're very pro-German. I know there's a lot of Americans like that too, where we have a lot of Americans where they say, yeah, the red, white, and blue. But for some reason, my experience is Germans always compare Germany to America. They always, whenever they talk to me, they compare right away. I don't ever remember, someone comparing America to Germany. Sure, maybe it's because Germany isn't that well or as big as a country as America is. But there is no purpose in bashing the healthcare system in America because the healthcare system here in Germany isn't perfect itself. And they bash a lot of other things like how Americans don't get to go on vacations and things like that. And whenever they get an opportunity to show their pride and joy about their own country, they will take no time in doing it. It is guilt-free and happily encouraged. Food here. So moving on to food, this would kind of be part of the cultural differences. I wouldn't really count it though or not. Oh, before I forget, the way people drive on a road. We have a tailgating rule, at least in Colorado, where you have to be at least a car length in between. I'm assuming that's for a lot of other states too. That rule does not apply here. And if you think the Autobahn is fun to drive on, you better think again, because it's not. People are crazy there. They are very aggressive, very hostile. They will honk your horn at you for no reason, just because they're angry with you. So, but this is not a rant. This is just my personal opinion towards the country. Like I said, I listed out some positive, some negative. And now we're going to move on to food. So, most of the food I don't like. However, if you want a breakfast, you come to Germany. Their food here is fantastic. They have over 300 different variations of bread to choose from. OMG, that is a lot. The cheese that they offer, along with the different forms of pig, is great. And the reason why I say pig, because they say things like Würstchen and Wurst and things like that. So they have different, tiny variations between each slice of ham, basically. And they taste freaking great. They are just fantastic. Their cereal selection isn't very selective, unfortunately. They usually just call it cornflakes or muesli, which doesn't really exist in America. I mean, we have muesli in America, but it's we say cereal. They don't really have a general term for it, so I think it's kind of funny. Even on like official documentation, it'll say cornflakes, so I think that's pretty funny. What else? So food, yeah. There's obviously, as you saw, there's McDonald's, Burger King, Subway. I mean, you didn't see Subway here, but yeah, in the city there was things like Burger King and McDonald's. They taste exactly like they do in America. A lot of times people tell you, oh, the Coke tastes different, or this tastes different. The Coke does taste different here. Germany even has a separate Coke brand. It's called Mezzo Mix. Is to die for. It is good stuff. I would never disregard that. Like, if we could import that or set that up in America somehow, I would totally do it, because it is good stuff. They have McDonald's. The burgers taste exactly like they do in the States, and so do the Burger King burgers. But once you start getting to places like Subway, Pizza Hut, I'm losing my mind, KFC, things like that, then you'll start to notice the difference in the meat, because they follow different meat guidelines here in Germany for good reason, but that's just how it is. So, breakfast is, of course, I'm sure most of you have heard this plenty of times, the most important meal of the day. So keep that in mind. Education differences. It's pretty difficult for an American to get into a German system as far as education goes. A lot of Germans will completely disregard the American system and think it's quote-unquote low budget and a waste of time. I've heard that more than once. And they totally disregard Americans actually in the sense of education. So unfortunately, they're a little cocky and arrogant for the amount of Germans who can't speak English the way they're supposed to speak it, for as much trash as they talk. They can't speak it as good as they say they can. So they tend to also do American-like things. So, for example, this ALS thing that's going on for the ice bucket and whatever, which was originally funded in Great Britain, but America turned it into an internet fad and trend. Germany has now took it upon themselves to copy it and do the same thing, because it's the cool thing to do, because that's what you do in America. So if that's what you do there, then we do it here. So that's pretty interesting. Clothing styles, they're starting to copy a way Americans dress now. I remember 3 years ago now, when I first got here, my mother-in-law told me that I would look antisocial if I walked around with sweatpants, and I would look like a homeless person, basically. Nowadays, people walk around with tights and sweatpants, and it's totally cool. I don't know what happened in 3 years, but I don't know. Yeah, but apparently, and her stepmom, or my mom-in-law is actually okay with it too, so it's kind of weird. And the last but not least, health insurance system. The health insurance system is nice, it's social medicine, but the thing you gotta keep in mind is sometimes they'll make you stay in a hospital for an extra 2 or 3 days to get a bigger fat paycheck out of it. What I mean by that is, I'll tell you a story. I burned my foot, I got a 2nd-degree burn, and they had to have me in the hospital for an entire week to decide if I needed to go into surgery or not. My bed neighbor, lost 2 fingers, and he stayed in there for a less amount of time. And he was released the same day I did. That means I was in the hospital for 7 days, and my neighbor was only in the hospital for 6. And I guarantee you a 2nd-degree burn is nowhere near as bad as having 2 fingers cut off. So be very careful with proclaiming that the German health system is as beautiful as it looks, because there's always a trick in the background. Of course, the health insurance system isn't bad. A lot of times your job will pay for half, and you'll pay for half for the monthly fee, usually coming to a total of 140, but half and half. One thing I want to point out really quick here is pay attention to these 2 couples, or these 2 people. They're a couple. And so they're not holding hands. They're not holding hands. They hold hands. They do a little kiss, and then re-separate. Germans are not affectionate people. They are not very affectionate people at all. There's, of course, you'll run into the random, every once in a while guys who are very affectionate, but 9 times out of 10, they're not very affectionate like the way Americans are. So it's your opinion on whether that's good or bad. Take it for what it is, but it is what it is. Anyway, overall, Germany has its good and bad. There's nothing wrong with the country. It functions fine. It's not a third world country. It's a first world country. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. This has been Shadow Below. Thank you once again for stopping in to the Shadow's Den. It's been fun chit-chatting with you guys. Hope you all have a good one. Peace.